Well, it's that time again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the interview with Craig-Veltri.
Thank you, Megan Pennington, and welcome to the interview. Our guest, a meditation coach whose wanderlust led her to take residency on the coast of Mexico, returns to us with her first book of poetry entitled Whispers from Spirits. Having sampled her meditation poems over the years, her prose and insight into understanding her life and life in general shows a writer constantly shedding the excess in order to maintain absolute clarity. Whispers from Spirit is available now on all online retailers. Recording in Pittsburgh and calling in from Puerto Escondido, Oaxaca, Mexico. Here she is, Chelsey Cooper. Chelsey, welcome back to the interview.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Great to be here.
So, quick refresher to those that haven't heard your first appearance on the episode, and will be coming soon to the Craig Veltri interview archive, which I'm going to be relaunching first week of September. You, we knew each other back in college, and you had been around the world, and you wound up in Mexico. What was it about Puerto Escondido in particular that called you to its shores?
Yeah, so it's funny because Whispers from Spirit, it's kind of like that. I just felt this call to go here. I don't know how I found Puerto. It was almost like just taking a leap of faith. I always wanted to live in a beach town, and I think I found it through a Facebook group, got a one-way ticket, and just packed everything and came here. And
Just
thankfully,
like
it's
that.
worked out really well. Yeah, just like that. It's like that's kind of where like I follow spirit. I follow my heart. I just follow my intuition. And when I don't have any logical reason, that's usually when it works out for me.
Now, we had discussed also when poetry and guided meditation really came into play. You are a dance major from UNC Greensboro, and you've been doing some writing almost as a hobby. What and what kind of came first, just the meditation or the poetry?
The meditation came first because I was a massage therapist back in the day, and I really loved helping people slow down and connect with themselves. So, from being a massage therapist, I got into guided meditation to kind of bring people back to their center. And then poetry kind of became birthed when I was nomadic. And it was a way for me to process the world around me. And I wrote poetry probably for 5 years before sharing it. And I had like over 200 poems, but they are very similar in when I do guided meditation. I'm very much in imagery and I do it in the moment. I don't write them. I actually just channel the guided meditations. And poetry is similar. When I write, I just let it flow out of me. And it's all sort of to process the world and to connect to yourself.
So you're in a kind of meditative states when you are writing your poems. Would that be
Yeah,
what I'm
exactly.
understanding? Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, you have one poem up on your I see. I think this is a new Facebook page for you, poet, or rather Instagram. I promise, folks, I haven't been drinking, but your uh, Instagram poet Chelsey Cooper. You've been posting a lot of stuff. I assume that that is some stuff from the book, and the one that really drew my attention was the one that began with "I have been to a million funerals of me." I really do enjoy that. Would you please indulge our listeners to that particular one, if you can pull it up?
Yeah, I feel like that when I wrote that poem, and a lot of my friends were going through similar things, there's moments in life when you're in a transition, and the version of you that you were is not going to be the version of you that you feel like you are now or becoming for your next level in life or your next chapter. And so it's this constant reinvention of self and also letting go of what you no longer feel connected to, the person that got you here but isn't going to get you to the next phase. So that's how I felt. I was like, I've been to a million funerals of me, let go of lots of versions of me so I can be who I'm becoming and really embody that. So I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. It's kind of like a death rebirth type of feeling. But yeah, I feel like in life that we're constantly being asked to like let go of what's not true anymore, letting go of what we aren't anymore, so we can really step into our authenticity.
We'll talk more about the collection of poems, Whispers from Spirit, as a whole in just a second here with Chelsey Cooper on the Craig-Veltri interview, proud member of the Scarfire Media Podcast Network. For more on Scarfire Media, visit our website, scarfiremedia.com. Check out all the great stuff on the Scarfire Media Podcast Network, the Cool Brother Podcast, Fire Pit, Mommy Rockstar coming soon. And thank you for listening to the Craig-Veltri interview. Like, share, and subscribe. So you said that Whispers from Spirit was almost what you're calling to what was calling you to live where you are now. Is why Whispers is basically is the where did you come up with the title for this collection, and how did you come to make this collection?
Yeah, so the title, it kind of came from how I've made a lot of decisions in my life, like coming to Puerto. It's like you get this little whisper, this little inkling, this little intuitive hit to do something. You have no idea how it's going to work out. You have no idea why, but you know it's connected to yourself and your path. And so all of these poems are actually to bring you closer to yourself without all the noise of like, we could go through a million reasons why to do something, why not to do something, but sometimes there's this little whisper that connects you to your truth, to your intuition, to your instinct. And it's enough to bring you back to your center and back to yourself. And this book, actually, I had so many poems. I didn't know what to do with them, and I wanted them to live somewhere. But I didn't know how to write the book. I was like, how am I going to bring these poems like into a collection? And this actually came to be, my friend has a tea shop in a different town here in Mexico, about like an hour away. And he was like, let's do a free poem and tea event to open the shop. And I had that in mind of like, okay, somebody is going to pick a random poem. And if it could be like a little poem that's a message that feels really special to them. So I wrote these 10 poems that were designed to be as scrolls that somebody would choose and read it and be like, wow, like this message, this poem, like really
Like
speaks to
how
me.
big of a scroll? I mean, we're like, I assume they were like pulling it out of a hat or something. So maybe like really thin, or are we talking hear ye town crier kind of thing?
Yeah, that here type of scroll. Like it was a big piece of paper. I rolled it up that night. I went there and we were rolling up the scrolls. He was making the tea. I was like tying them, and we put them all around the shop and we hung them from a
There's something
tree.
very
That was
colonial about this operation.
it
Colonial
is.
American to be specific.
Yeah, it was just like, we just put it together. And the next day we were just handing out tea. I was like, pick a poem message. And this little girl walked by with her mom. And my friend was like, do you want to pick a poem? And she was so excited. She was like, yes. And so she like went to the tree where I had these poem scrolls hanging from the tree. And she carefully selects her poem and she opens it right there. And I got chills like watching her read it, and she felt so emotional in what she was reading and like so grateful. She hugged her mom, she hugged me, she hugged my friend. And I was like, I'm going to make a book that has that same feeling. Like the book, you don't read it in like one page at a time, you turn to a random page. Whatever page you turn to is the poem that you receive. So it's
It,
like that's my own take of it, of like how it's a whisper from spirit. And I love, oracles and things that just feel magical and juicy in the moment. So I was like, I could imagine somebody like drinking coffee, turning to a page and reading their poem.
so is that to say that you organized this all randomly? You really didn't have a narrative through line. You didn't even, I don't think you're going to have chapters in this book, or
No.
at least parts of it. So you really just were like, okay, just Word doc into book, done. That
Yeah.
was the editing process.
Yeah, there wasn't, it was, yeah. And once I like had that idea from doing that event, it all flowed. Like I made this book in like 2 months, because it just like flowed out of me and I knew how I wanted people to connect to it and how I wanted it to impact people. And it made it super easy from there. And and I'm a person who just like follows, how I want to do things. So there's not any poetry books that are actually read in this way that I know of. So I wanted to feel special.
Now, how does the cover art blend into that? It is a girl standing in front of a maze, a labyrinth, if you will, and the line is drawn through the maze, almost kind of a squiggly and past it. I have my own interpretation of it, but where did you, is this a photo or art of your own creation? And if not, why did this outsourced art speak to you in the context of your piece?
Yeah, so actually, it was a friend of mine that drew the cover. She's a great artist, and we kind of came up with some
What's her
ideas.
name?
Her name is Anastasia. Yeah.
Right.
She lives here and she's a great graphic designer. And yeah, she's a great artist and painter. And I was like, this was the part that I was like, oh, like I need help. So she came in at the very end and designed this book cover. And it was really the idea that like what I was speaking to, where like there's all this noise that isn't your truth. And that's all around you. And that's kind of like the maze. And then a whisper coming down is how you find your way to your center and to your
Oh, I
heart.
see. Because it that the
Hmm.
line does come in. If you're reading up and down, that's where the line's going. Okay.
Yeah.
Immediately, I'm drawn to the drawn to the black haired girl. Is that I mean, it almost I love the design of it anyway. I'm just trying to place where I'm like it almost looks like on the cover of a like a small children's book or something that she might have been pulled from.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was that little girl and that moment that really birthed the book for me, was that story that I just told about the tea shop, because it was like just anyone, any age can read this book. And it really was like that innocence and that purity that I felt in that moment. And it's like anyone who is on a journey. And for me, like the image of her is like embarking on a journey of life. And she has these little whispers from spirit to make sure that she is always connected to herself.
We'll talk more about how close you, Chelsey, are getting to. You seem to always be able to come back to the center, but we'll see how close you are most days here on the Craig-Veltri interview. Streaming now on Music from the 412. Go to musicfromthe412.com and check out some of the best music from Pittsburgh and gathered here in Pittsburgh that you possibly can get your hands on. New episodes of the Craig-Veltri interview drop every Monday at 8 a.m. and streaming daily on Music from the 412. Download Music from the 412 on your Roku. Now, Chelsey, the purpose of your poetry, from what I've understood in our past conversations and in this conversation, is that it's a way for you to pull yourself back to the middle. I would, having lived on the shore off and on now for the last 3 years, I would imagine geography and that kind of stimuli does tend to make it a little bit easier. But how do you find your own meditations and how effective it's been with your own life? Are you closer to that center, or dare I say nirvana?
I mean, I think it's a lifestyle. Like I chose to live here to live the simple life. And there's a lot of artists here as well. So I do think there's an environmental component. I'm surrounded by like artists and free spirits and creators. But I think the daily of like slowing down has been the main theme to connect back to myself. And with my poetry and with my art and my expression, it's been a lot of like undoing and saying no to things and boundaries to then have enough space to be like, okay, this is me and my center. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm processing. This is what emotions are coming up. So it's always this like kind of undoing and releasing to then kind of come to a place where you can hear yourself.
And hearing yourself to music sometimes as well. You mentioned a lot of the artists. You've been doing a lot of spoken word. Are
Mhm.
these shows? Are these just open mics you're just jumping on? Or is this turning in, becoming now perhaps uh, a spoken word music project almost that you might be eyeing at some point?
Yeah, so the book is one component, but with my poetry, I've really stretched myself as an artist. And I had a poetry circle with two friends, and we would meet every week and we would share. And one of them's a rapper. And I was like, we need something like this for the community. So I started an open mic here that's specifically music and poetry. and to give that to the community, because there's other poets, there's people who are just learning to sing, that are finding themselves as an artist. So this community, this open mic, has grown a lot. And from there, I also grew a lot, and I started doing spoken word with an entire band sometimes with one guitarist, sometimes percussion on the cajon. And that's been really fun. So a music project is growing right now, and I'm currently with my friend who does rap. We're making an album that's poetry and rap together. So it's really blossomed.
Can't wait to hear it. I mean, your language is very direct. I almost I'm not the least bit surprised that a musical album, because a lot of your guided meditations do have music backing it. I think we did speak about this, but you are to turn a phrase from a Beatles song, you may be a dancer, but you ain't no singer. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair to say.
So how so fitting your voice into a musical background, or music backing you, I should say. Is it has it Was there nerves going into that kind of thing, and how helpful has this musical community been in getting you talking to music?
Yeah, oh my gosh. I mean, it was really uncomfortable, but also not, because when I first got up on the stage and was sharing my poetry for the first time on a mic, it felt really great to have that support. Like it was almost like, okay, this guitar is like, they're holding that space for me, because I've never been on stage and I never shared in a mic. So there was this component of like feeling really supported, and then also to grow as an artist and to experiment and to play and to have fun with it. So there are a lot of times the musicians are just going off of the emotion or the feeling. And when I've spoken with them, they're like, I've never played for a poet before. That was a new experience. I was really nice to kind of get into the energy of it, or to feel like your words. So it's been really fun to experiment, is like the word that's coming through. And it's like, none of us know what we're doing, and somehow it all works out, and we all learn in the process and grow as artists.
Well, that being said, about not knowing what we're doing, we'll find out what you're doing in the near future, and we'll also play the shuffle game and get a couple of readings out of Whispers from Spirit by Chelsey Cooper here on the Craig-Veltri interview. Her interview will be up on the CVI archive on patreon.com/Craig-Veltri. Yeah. CVI archive. I'll say that one more time. Patreon.com/CVI archive for just $5 a month. Starting in the first week of September, you will have access to the complete archive of the Craig-Veltri interview, including Chelsey Cooper's first appearance here on the Craig-Veltri interview at patreon.com/CVI archive. So, let's do as you hope the reader does with the Whispers from Spirit. Would you mind let's do 3. Please pick up said book and shuffle through and read us something from your book, if you do not mind.
Yes, I would love to. Okay, so 3 messages. So let's see what the first message. So usually I have people hold the book and connect to it. And then, yeah, I close your eyes if you like to, but I just kind of sift through the pages.
By the way, this is how a religion teacher in high school told me how to read the Bible sometimes. So. It works on a lot of spiritual. So
yeah, I'm like, it's all connected. Very intentional. Oh, okay. So the first message, the heart doesn't follow logic. I receive, I invite. I know it'll be all right. You open your hands because you are alive again. You realize parts of you were numb. You welcome it all in. Break open once again to become the heart.
what was on your heart that day?
Oh man, okay. I'm trying to recall. I think this poem stemmed from a relationship that was ending. And sometimes when we have our heart broken, we realize this is also a part of living. You're so open and exposed. You're like, I'm feeling all of it. And that poem came from that. But then it's almost like your heart breaks open to receive even more love. So I felt like that was, yeah, that's where that poem stemmed from.
Sounds like the music I've been putting out the last 2 or 3 years. So totally relate to that. Again, please.
Second message. Okay. A force to be reckoned with. Can you hear it? The waves building, the anticipation, before the curl, the loss of all control. Is destiny similar? Building faster as you trust the process, to come flooding in when you release the known. Your life can change in a single moment.
I like the curling. I mean, so when you write, I mean, are you near the ocean, or is your window open that you can hear it?
Both. So sometimes I'm at home in my space, and this one I definitely wrote when I was at the ocean because I get a lot of inspiration from watching the waves or the sunset. So yeah, this one was at sunset.
Give us the
wrote
full
it.
picture of Chelsey Cooper as she's writing her poems. Are you writing longhand? Or are you writing on your phone? How are you doing this?
I used to write in a notebook, but then sometimes it comes through so fast that I actually write in my notes on my phone now. And a lot of times it's when I'm at sunset or here it's a rustic beach town, so I lose power or lose internet. That really helps because I'm like, well, what else am I gonna do? Everything's quiet. So I'm like, let me see what comes out of me. It's like a lot of times, and I sit with it until like it flows completely out. So it's good to not have distractions. So at the beach, where I'm not connected to Wi-Fi and I can't actually communicate with anyone, or when I'm in my apartment and I put everything away, or I have no choice but to sit with myself.
Anytime the power goes out, that is usually the time that I mean, I don't even really play unless I'm in a studio or I'm on stage these days. But if there's nothing really else to do, let's noodle for a second. So definitely relate to that as well. One more for the road, please, Miss Cooper.
A third poem message: release, need, understanding everything. Quiet, listen, receive. The path that lies ahead, the greatness you can't configure in your head. It is alignment, frequency, the energy free, allowed to be. This is the newfound legacy that is you.
So in perfect how this selection lands, because with the frequency and what lies ahead for you next?
I mean, it's funny because one of the poems I read is like when you release the known, that's when destiny comes in. I think I'm in this place of like continuing to take the steps. So finishing the album, performing locally. I'm creating like more Spotify and things to stream with my poetry. And all those are practical things, but I also feel this excitement of like, I don't quite know what exactly is up ahead, but I'm just going to keep showing up as myself and receiving the magic of what is going to be unfolding in my life.
So is that to say you're not going to eventually, is this going to remain a Mexican operation? Are you going to be just mostly touring with this around Mexico? Do you plan on getting back to the States at any time soon with the book? What do you have planned as far as touring with this,
Yeah,
if any?
the goal is to actually perform at festivals, and that can be in the US or in Europe. So it is going to expand beyond Puerto. With my friend doing the rap and poetry, we do a lot of conscious writing, and we want to bring that out into communities that can connect with that. So yeah, performing, festivals, maybe some book appearances and sharing that more. Yeah, I definitely want to travel and do the art. And the community is kind of like where it all was birthed here.
Adam, I met you in Greensboro. You wound up in Mexico. No duh, you love to travel. So,
Yeah, can't wait to get out there and just connect with lots of people and be a part of different communities, you know?
well, hopefully we will cross paths on more than a Zoom call. But before we go, we have a nice way of closing here on the Craig-Veltri interview, as you recall, called the No Kidding Questionnaire. A couple of rapid fire questions. First thing that comes to your mind. However, since you are a returning champion to the Craig-Veltri interview, Chelsey Cooper, you qualify for the No Kidding Questionnaire 2.0. Chelsey, what sound or noise do you love?
Do I love? Oh, the birds. I love the
Birds.
sound of birds. That's the first one. Yeah.
Can you spot bird calls?
Can I what?
Can you can you listen for birds and know what they are?
No, definitely not.
Well, I imagine being near a beach, it's a lot of the seagulls squawking. Is that a peaceful sound for you?
Kind of. And you know what's funny is actually like the geckos here sound like birds, but they're not birds, but they make this tweet, tweet, tweet sound.
Hmm.
So when I first moved here, I thought they were birds, and people were like, no, those are geckos. So, if it's
Hmm.
a seagull, if it's a gecko, like I can't tell the difference.
Well, I mean, they are reptile amphibian, and they are descendant of birds, two birds, I should say. I am not an anthropologist by any means, but so I understand these things. So maybe there's something to connecting in the tweets. We are all connected in the great circle of life, Simba. So, of the other side of it, what is sound or noise do you hate?
Leaf blowers.
Leap that like that.
I cannot stand them.
I I'm again. I've never seen Puerto Escondido with my own eyes. Is that a common sound around your apartment complex?
No, but that is a sound that has stuck with me that really irritates me. And I think it's just like the first one that came to me because during the pandemic, everything was so quiet. And the first thing that started making noise was leaf blowers. And it felt like it was so loud. And that is
Mm,
always the noise. Like I get triggered by that noise for some reason. Like there's not many here. I would say like if it's Puerto, it's like that saw sound and construction that because there's a lot of construction here, I would say that would be like the equivalent if it
mm.
was in the area.
It does get jarring, So I can imagine this is a thing you can commiserate with on a beach town. If you're sitting on a nice open stretch of beach and it's just all quiet, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 the sound of nail guns going into a brand new roof. It's like, this was the day I wasn't going to put my headphones on and listen to loud music. Okay, I guess that goes to hell today, right?
Yeah, it's the contrast, It's like, but I think everywhere kind of has that contrast because like building and there's construction, but then you get the ocean sound and the birds and the geckos and the chickens.
It's a blend. Hopefully, when one voice gets out of tune, it does kind of, there's music all around, and the best sounds of it is when it all just kind of blends in and doesn't really stand out. Really, I think. Speaking of music, and since you have been playing around in a band, what is the one song that you are not yet tired of playing, singing, or listening to? And since you are a brand new songwriter these days, it can't be one of your own.
Okay, let's see. Oh, that's a good question. Ah, hmm. Well, it's not my own, but it's my dad's song.
Oh, okay.
That
That
count.
counts.
It's called Sweet Blood Call, and it's sung by Louisiana Red, and my dad wrote it.
I did
And I
not know your
always
dad
love
was a
listening to that.
songwriter.
Yeah.
Has he been cut nationally, or is he? Who is he?
No, he passed away. But I grew up listening to blues because he was a blues songwriter, but he also wrote like plays and novels. And I think that's where a part of writing this book and writing songs and writing poetry, I feel like I'm honoring his legacy.
Hmm. He would be proud, I do believe.
Thank
Uh,
you.
if reincarnation is real, what animal or organism do you hope to come back as?
A house cat, a lazy house cat.
uh, do you have them around your house?
Yes, there's a lot of street cats around my house, and there's two that I feed sometimes. But yeah, it's a whole tribe of cats around. And I really like cats, but I was like, that's kind of a tough life to be out on the streets. They got to hunt and look for food. And I'm like, I'd rather be inside, lazy, being fed. No, I'm going to be fed and taken care of.
I don't know. I remember driving through, this happened a couple weeks ago. I was driving through Wadesboro, North Carolina on the way back from a Myrtle Beach run. And I stopped off at a Taco Bell, and there was a mama cat and two kittens walking behind her. And I felt bad for a second, but I'm just thinking also to myself, think of the stuff that they throw away at a Taco Bell. They're probably living just fine. So drove carefully through that parking lot and said a little prayer for I will call them Nitty Gritty and Kitty. So
I love that.
speaking of food, what is your favorite food to make at home?
My favorite food to cook is soup because
Soup.
you can just throw it all in a pot and it cooks itself.
Tell me you own a crock-pot cookbook without telling me you own a crock-pot cookbook. What's your favorite soup to make?
Well, here I do like there's buffalo meat and potatoes and carrots and bone broth and zucchini. Just throw it all in there. That's my go-to meal here that I can make.
Now I've had a buffalo burger before, and it's a surprisingly I mean it's grounded anyway, so it's going to be tender anyhow. But it certainly it kind of melts in your mouth. Um, I wasn't buffalo. I think are endangered in America. Is it just more readily available in Mexico?
Yeah, they do have a brand here called Don Buffalo. So there's a buffalo farm not far from here. So it's actually easier for me to find those products than like your typical products. There's a store right near me that has the Don Buffalo brand. Here, like the best way to describe, like I walk everywhere. There's a mercado not far, and then there's all these little shops. So like every day I go to a shop to get something. Yeah, because it's not like they don't have they do have one big grocery store in Centro. Yeah.
Chelsey, what is your favorite curse word?
I don't know how to say this, but like I don't know if it's a curse, but damn, like hot damn, like that'd probably be my favorite. If you put in that order, like hot damn.
Call the police and the fireman. But damn it's a good one. You can say it on TV. It describes hell. It's an underrated one. I like damn too. So
Yeah, I think that one gets forgotten. A good one.
hey, it's like a stand-in word in certain areas, and definitely around Greensboro. I think we knew a couple of people who was like, well, damn, man, I'm dying to boomhauer talk basically. Last question of this questionnaire, Chelsey. If you were given the choice between starting life with your current knowledge again at the age of 6 or $10 million, which one would you take?
Wait, can you say the last part? 6 or 10?
If you could be given the choice of starting life again with your current knowledge again at the age of 6 or 10 million American dollars, which would you take?
Yeah, the knowledge, I think. Yeah.
You would start over again at 6. Why?
I feel like with the knowledge and wisdom, I don't know, like from what I know now, like imagine all the things I could create from that space of that like purity and that innocence and that childlike wonder, which I still have now. But I feel like it would just be such a great opportunity to seize the moment with everything that I've experienced, but back then, and to create life from that place. It'd be an interesting adventure. I think I'm like called to adventure, to be like, ooh.
In the great wide somewhere. I I definitely can tell just reading your stuff and all that stuff. It's apparent that you still maintain a lot of that childhood wonder, and it's great to see that in oh God, we're approaching just over 15 years of knowing each other. That part of you has not died one single bit. So, in fact, if anything, it's gotten stronger. So it's amazing to me. And we have one last bit of business to deal with here on the Craig-Veltri interview, Chelsey. It should be your favorite part of it. It is time for shameless self promotion. The stuff that I've heard from you today out of your book, Whispers from Spirit, is quite lovely, quite enchanting, really. And please tell folks where we can find it. Fire away, plug your pluggables.
Yeah, so the book is available on Amazon through paperback. And you can get that link through my Instagram, poet Chelsey Cooper, which is my main handle. Yeah. And then stay tuned because the album will be coming out soon. And you can also receive information from that on my Instagram. That's my main platform I use.
How soon, Mr. Cooper? How soon?
So the album I think will be available, yeah, definitely in September. Because we're just finishing up the details this month.
You heard it first. The first record from spoken word poet Chelsey Cooper dropping in September, and we'll look forward to plugging it on our end when it does come out. And I'm so excited for everything. Hopefully one of us crosses the border and we see each other in person soon. It's been way too long, but it's always great to catch up with you and to hear your words. And I do, having had something of a spiritual awakening myself, seeing this and seeing anybody kind of just shine the light inside of their own minds and are willing to share that stuff, it can be so helpful to anybody that does that sort of stuff. And I've come to a certain understanding about God and spirituality. I've learned a lot about what God isn't, namely me. But what I will say to you is that anybody that has kind of hit that God button in their head and is willing to share, it can save lives, and it certainly can enlighten. And I'm so grateful that this is the path that you're walking down these days, and I'm so excited for what's to come for you. Chelsey Cooper, thank you so much for joining me here today on the Craig-Veltri interview.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this time. Thank you for inviting me and for this conversation. It's been beautiful.
The Craig-Veltri interview, where Craig-Veltri interviews wonderful people, is a production of Scarfire Media, the voice of the independent artist. Written and edited by Craig-Veltri, your announcer is Megan Pennington. The opening theme, Shut Up, I Love You, written by Trenton Chandler and Craig-Veltri, performed by Craig-Veltri, produced by Jack Gavin. The closing theme, Shine On, written and performed by Craig-Veltri, produced by Brian Cole. You'll only hear that on the audio version. Inside the Cabin is available now on all streaming. Support Moonshine Vagabonds by downloading directly from Bandcamp. Also want to announce that the music video for It Wasn't Love is currently in post-production, and we should have an update next week regarding the release date of It Wasn't Love, the music video. Time now to update the event calendar because you must know where I am at all times. Friday the 14th, I will be at the Hilton Myrtle Beach Resort from 6 to 9 p.m. Then on Saturday, August 15th, my sister's birthday, by the way, happy birthday, Maggie. The Craig-Veltri show goes to Tin Roof Myrtle Beach from 6 to 9 p.m. And then again at Tin Roof Myrtle Beach on Wednesday, the 18th. For full dates, including Atlanta, Chicago, and Nashville, visit my website, craig-veltri.com. For booking info, including full band in this podcast, email me at craig-veltriofficial@gmail.com. You can find the interview on Facebook by searching the Craig Veltri interview, YouTube at Craig Veltri Music, music from the 412.com, and you can find me on Instagram, or as my old roommate, the Tommy Thomas, used to call it, Instagirl at craig.veltri. For Chelsey Cooper, I'm Craig Veltri, and this has been the Craig Veltri interview. With that, I'll pass. Shine on.